Good afternoon, audience. Can everyone hear me? Okay, so thank you very much for waiting for this panel session. As earlier mentioned, I'm Oluwatibileyin, but you can call me Timmy because that is absolutely shorter. So you've heard the name of the panel, and it's a panel that is centered around the mind-boggling questions that many undergrads or many undergraduates in Nigeria tertiary institutions have. So now I'm going to be calling up our panelists. Please let's make welcome Salim Oinlola. So Salim, you can walk to the stage while I read your bio. Salim is a recent graduate of electrical and electronics engineering at the University of Lagos and a researcher in artificial intelligence. He has conducted AI ML research at the SCS lab in Iowa State University. I think that deserves much more applause. Also, beyond AI research and engineering, Salim tells stories of students, innovators through his Beyond the Classroom initiative, where he serves as also a GitHub campus expert. He also leads the Sound as Bell initiative, a mental health project that partners with community stakeholders, including the Lagos state government, to empower young Nigerians to better understand and talk openly about mental health. Please let's jam our hands again together for Salim. And I'm going to be bringing up our next panelist, Chioma Ibekama. Please, Chioma, could you walk up to the stage while I read your bio? So Chioma is a cybersecurity engineer and technical writer, skilled in vulnerability assessment, penetration test, and simplifying complex cybersecurity concepts. Please let's jam our hands together for Chioma. Okay, before we start the panel, so good afternoon, my panelists. How are you guys doing? Well, for many years, many Nigerian students have been asking the questions, how do I get these international opportunities? Well, in LinkedIn, I'm happy to announce to you that this is the right panel you ought to be on to find out the secret sauce and how many or if couple Nigerian students have, gotten internships and international opportunities at multinationals. So the very first question I'm going to be asking our panelists is, let's start with your story, right? How did your journey in tech begin on campus? And what pivotal experiences or projects shaped your part, in helping you land the global opportunity?
Hi everyone, my name is Chomai Bakanma and I am a recent graduate from the University of Lagos. I studied systems engineering. So, I don't know why that is- so I'm just going to go through how I started in tech before I landed my internship. I interned this year at the Bank of America as a cybersecurity analyst. So I got into school in I think 2019. Yeah. So I attended the University of Lagos and we know how it is with strikes. So you're going to stay a very extended period. And then I think one of the things I got into was volunteering. So I volunteered for a number of organizations in school in my faculty really. So we have Shell Eco Marathon, we have PADC, and I volunteered as a content writer. I was in the content team. Sometimes, like over the years, I'll just basically a serial volunteer, always trying to learn how to work in a team, writing, leading the content team for some of those organizations. And that's how I got into technical writing. So when I tell people, try to tell people that everything you get into matters. So everything you double it, everything streamlines, trickles down to the career you want or the person that you're going to be. So the experience I got in the content team, writing content, helped me to be a technical writer, and that played a huge part in my internship role. So in 2021, yeah, University of Lagos, I remember my first DevFest was 2021, I think. And then everybody's in tech. I have a sister, and she was doing like AR stuff. All my friends were either back end or they were doing front end. And I didn't really know what to do. I took up back end and I didn't like it. And I'm not a fan of doing what you don't like. I, I hate it. So I think I was in a group one day with tech people and I saw that somebody was doing ethical hacking. I did not know that they could pay you to hack. I didn't know. So I took courses, a lot of, especially in cybersecurity where you don't have a clear pathway or a clear roadmap. You have a lot of learning blindly. So I did that. One thing that helped me was I was always sharing my learning journey very regularly on LinkedIn. And then I think somebody in 2022, somebody reached out to me and said, okay, I like what you're doing. Do you want an interview? I got the interview. That was my first internship. That was 2023, where I stayed with the company for 2 years. So I didn't really know that all this were going to amalgamate into like preparing me for my internship this year. But over that period, since I already done my technical writing, I was already in cybersecurity, I'd already done dozens of pen tests, I'd written over 70 articles. Those were the pivotal moments that helped me secure my internship as a cybersecurity analyst. And that's what I did for 3 months in Ireland. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that, Chioma. Salim, can we have you real quick?
I think I think similar. My name is Salim Milula, University of Lagos, Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I think similar to Choma as well. I started tech in 2020 during the COVID break. So it's like I don't want to be home for this long. I was binge watching a lot of sitcoms at the point. It's like, let me actually do something with my life. And my sister sent me a link to this particular internship. It's like at the point the founders of the company are just graduated from FUTA, right? And they're like a biotech company. And they wanted a couple of students. They were not really there was literally they didn't really expect much from me at the point. They just wanted to come in for a couple of months. You learn on the job. Like that's what they wanted. And at the point, I could write Python, but like my Python was probably like for loop, while loop. That's what ends. Like that's all, right? So I don't think I would say I could write Python, right? And then I applied for the job, and till this I have no idea what I gotten. And somehow I did, and the company paid for my first course. If you do machine learning, you probably know Andrew Ng's course on machine learning, right? So they paid for that, actually the course, and literally they didn't ask for anything else. I did have a meeting with the CTO once per week just to report what I had learned, and that was what I did. So that was my first entry into machine learning. And but then when I think about my growth from 2020 to 2022, it was kind of slow as opposed to what I had from 2022 all the way till today. And the key difference for me was just community. So at the start of 2022, I was really big on, let me join communities because ML is a very delayed gratification field. So I didn't like the fact that a lot of people around me, I mean, I liked it, but like, it didn't help that a lot of people around me were doing software engineering. And if you have two versions of Salim, one is a software engineer, one is a machine learning engineer, I'm willing to bet that the software engineer guy you do better in a shorter time than the ML guy, right? So I needed more ML engineers around me. So I joined more communities, Microsoft Student Ambassador, GitHub, and IEEE. So I joined those communities, and then from there, every role I've had till date has been through recommendations from people in the community. Just people in the community, they know you, and it also helps when one thing I also learned from my journey as well. It's like it helps when you do something very specific and people know you with that. So when you think of early on, I was also really big on technical writing because let me just write on this ML concept, and I was putting it out there. So when people think of Salim, you're not going to think he's a front-end developer. Like there's no doubt in your mind that what does he do? So that really helps me as well. So I think, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that, Salim. I think what stood out for me, what Salim said, was community. And for Chioma, applying knowledge from places you volunteered. So, I mean, a lot of us saw the LinkedIn posts and, it's on your bio or intern at Bank of America. So take us behind the scenes, right, Chioma? How did you go from, how did you get that opportunity? And also, like, how then did you secure it after finally getting it? So did you search it on Google? Did somebody send it to you?
Okay, so somebody sent it to me as well. I'm always going to talk about your network. So I had a friend of a friend. It's actually my friend, but like we're not really close. And he said, Trema, you have to apply for internship. I've never applied before. So I just applied last year and he just sent me those links. And then I started the application. It was just before the end of summer. So it was a summer internship. Once it's August, there's a new batch of applications that come out. and you had to apply. So I was, before that started, I had already started preparing my CV. So before you can get in, you have to have a good CV. Does your CV pass the ATS standards? Like, do you create a CV that's just make you stand out from over 1,000 applicants that are going for the same role that you have from all over the different countries? And then that's how I started. I did a lot of research, watch a lot of YouTube videos on how people got in, and then I applied to a lot of internships, like
Okay,
spread
thank
it
you
out.
very much for sharing that with us briefly. Briefly, Salim, can we have yours in like a minute?
So I can go back to the question again.
How like take us behind the scenes of your application process?
To be honest, similar to Choma again, couple of friends sent it to me. They had seen the application poster out and they're like, Salim, I think she applied to this. And to be very honest, I wasn't so keen on it. But then one of my friends wasn't applying. He doesn't even do ML and was applying. And I'm thinking to myself, you do ML, why not just apply for this thing? Like, and yeah, I think that was it. Just my friends just convincing me to apply.
Now I'm beginning to rethink my circle, guys. Friends up puts friends on. So thank you very much for sharing. That's very insightful. So now, seeing that you've scaled through the application process, I mean, your CV passed the ATS and all of that. So for the numerous students seated in this hall looking to also apply for the same opportunity, right, globally, like what practical steps did you take to make yourself stand out or like identify yourself to be like that global talent that you had during your application? Maybe it's just something you did that was a little extra, that extra.
I would always say it's my writing, because at the end of my internship, I was having a feedback session with one of my managers, and she mentioned that I remember that from your applications, you had written 70 articles. So if you, there are going to be tens, thousands of people that have the exact same skill set as you are. You have to like see how you can stand out. One way I found it, like, cybersecurity is very technical. How can I explain it that somebody else will read it and benefit from it? And I didn't know, I was just doing it because sometimes they were paid, sometimes they were just for me. I didn't know that that was going to help. So find, you have your niche, find what is you are good at. Maybe you can make videos, you know how to speak publicly about what you do, and just put that out there. Let there be a track record of your accomplishments, of your learnings, and just let it be, let you have that, just have like that, I don't know the word to put it, but proof that you are learning and that you are improving yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. Having your proof of work publicly out there in the faces of many persons. So, Salim, let's have you.
I think for me, one thing I think I did that was a bit extra was having people in the company review my application.
Nepotism, guys.
I didn't say that.
Nepotism is good.
But
Okay.
like ultimately just, and funny thing I also learned from that period, from that process, is that people are more willing to help than you think. Like genuinely, like just a random person, just texting them, I am interested in this, yeah, and just in your message as well, keep it brief. And you also just try to also show some credibility in your message and just tell them I need this, and also make it easy for them. Don't be vague, like I want you to review X and Y, and then that would really, really help me. Like,
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. I just clocked something now. No roads. It's very essential when you're applying. So, I mean, everybody loves a how I got in story. Yeah, okay, I got this internship and all of that. Well, as a Nigerian, there are lots of frustrations that you could face. I mean, I school in, I will not say a remote area of Lagos, but light could be an issue and many more things. What were some orders that you had to like overcome? And also perhaps what were some of the things you had to check out of your mindset during your application process as a Nigerian applying from a Nigerian university for such a competitive global position?
I think I have a very, very positive mindset, because I believe that we put in a lot of work here. I don't believe that because we have, I'm not a big fan of the Nigerian educational system, but I'm a big fan of the students. Everybody here, you are putting a lot of work. Everybody is grinding in the night. So I always believe that I know the work I put in, and I know that it's global talent level. So I didn't have the mindset of maybe going to be subpar. The only thing I knew I needed to work on was my interviewing. Had never interviewed. Last time I interviewed was like my first job, and I didn't know how to do it. So I just learned the STAR methodology, and then for the plot, I started like applying to like Nigerian roles and interviewing for fun. So it was without how that landed me my next role, because I left my company like I started this year. Well, just because you can practice with your friends, but it's not the same thing. So I'll just go in there. I knew I was not going to get the job sometimes, but I was surprised I got one. And I'll just instead of practicing myself. And then for the issues that came in, I think on my day, because you have like a 3 hour interview, and then they took like my data was not working, Wi-Fi was not working, Jen was not coming on. So like just prepare for yourself for those hurdles. But you have the right mindset. You are the same with the people that are there. You are doing a lot of work and then believe in what you do.
Okay, I just got a new side hobby, guys. Interviewing for fun. I will try that. Please clap for me as I try interviewing for fun. Okay, so that was, I don't know, so out of the box, and I will try it. So Salim, can we have you real quick?
I think similarly, again,
Hey, this is my panelist. There's nothing similar, please.
but then I think mindset is very, very important. From a skills standpoint, just understanding that whether you're in Nigeria or anywhere, you're as good as anyone. Having that global talent mindset is very, very important early on. So when you're scaling up, skill up to be globally acceptable, like to the global standards. When you have that mindset, you're not really thinking about the skill point of view. What I think I then struggled with is maybe in terms of soft skill. I think in Nigeria or like this part of the world in general, we are taught to be humble a little bit. We are taught not to speak up. We are taught to like on learning those little things. I think that's something that was really, really important. Like after I got my internship, I had a professor I wanted to work with. The Nigerian me would be like, when you get there, you can't talk to him. But like just the mindset is I can talk to him. I sent him a mail. I want to work with you. I've seen your work and that was it.
Okay, so thank you very much. Salim, I think you mentioned something that I really want to pick on and I want you to like expand on it. You said, making sure that your works are like world class standard. Like what exactly is world class standard? Looking at your field and specialization in tech, or just generally, like just give the audience an overview.
I think being intentional about the work you do. So, how do I put this? Okay. For instance, in the ML space, right? If, let's say I do an ML research, an AI research, right? I could submit the work to a conference in Nigeria, right? Or I could submit it to an international conference. Now, as you'd imagine, the competition is much more stern internationally. The quality of work they expect internationally it's high up. So mentally, I'm thinking to myself, what do they accept at this international conference? What do they accept at this international journal? So like that's the quality I'm holding myself to. Or that's the standard I'm holding myself to mentally. So it's just like a mindset shift, sort of.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. So as Chioma had said, I will take on the hobby of interviewing for fun because, guys, I never get to the interview stage. I'm always just getting the mail. We are very sorry to inform you, regretfully, and I just move on. So to the next question. So I'm sure before you got this particular role that you're now here for, and everybody knows you for as or intern at Back of America or maybe intern at. So there must have been a couple bits of setbacks in perhaps your previous applications and all of that. So let us throw it back a bit. How did you deal with some of those rejections that you just got in your mail? Maybe on a hot Saturday afternoon, or and you just opened your mail, you just got a mail, and you're like, "Oh my goodness!" So, how did you deal with that? And also, how did you like overcome it and like come with a fresh perspective to your next application?
I think even after I'd gotten my internship, I still received my rejection mail from Goldman Sachs. I'm like, I don't need this now. I already skilled in. So I can remember one time I was going to school and I listened to this podcast Women at Work and they talked about something called rejection therapy, where you keep doing things to expect a no, apply to as much things as possible. So I was basically focused on the internship I got because it was cybersecurity, but I applied to a lot of wider technology based internships and I got my L's very quick. Like, we are sorry, this and unfortunately you did not meet blah blah. We'll add you to our talent pool. That's a lie. But like I feel that you should the applications are most likely I call them like it's a numbers game. Like the more you increase your pool and then you get a lucky answer. Just try rejection therapy basically. Try as much as possible to apply. Even if you don't meet all the requirements, it is more flexible than it looks on paper. So if you don't meet all the requirements, let them be the one to tell you that, okay, no, you're not going to get in. But you've done your part that you have. I tell my friends, like, last is no. They can't kill you. So I apply, send my CV, and then as long as you are good, the one that fits you will come for you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So now, Salim, I'm going to be asking you a question. So, did you happen to like do an interview during your application?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so that's fantabulous. Oh, there's no word like fantabulous, guys. So the interview stage can be what will really make or break your application. So how did you prepare for your interview or assessment and as it came on, like, to secure your position as an intern?
So I think I started with those guys I reached out to that work there. I reached out to them again. Okay, now I'm at the interview stage. What do you think I should prepare for? So, like they told me exactly the things I need to prepare. So like usually in the ML AI research space, you need to like read your papers, be familiar with the work, such that and the point of the familiarity with the work is they won't ask you anything technical per se, right? But then you have more confidence going to the interview because you actually know what you're saying. Right. So I think the biggest thing is confidence, and confidence comes from practice. So I had a couple of friends that were kind enough to like help me with mock interviews. As a matter of fact, I had a current intern there volunteer to have a mock interview with me. So having that sort of confidence and the person give you back feedback, like that was really, really good for me. Yeah, I think confidence as well, like being very confident and most importantly, so I would prepare a lot, but then before the actual interview, I'm like telling myself it's just a conversation. And then just like so that takes a lot of pressure off me, but then the confidence on the practice is still there nonetheless. So yeah, just approach that conversation and just yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. Preparing beforehand, having someone to have a mock-up interview with you, and also reaching out to the persons that have previously done it in order to get it right. So, Chairman, could you be more practical with the steps you took? Because I feel like you're the more practical. You've been more practical. Like you watch YouTube video, you do this. So, how did you go about it?
Learn the STAR methodology. So I think that situation
Could
tax.
you expatiate? Because some person might not know what the STAR methodology is. I recently just found out about it.
Okay, so situation is STAR situation, I think. Yeah, tax, action, result. So when they ask you a question like, okay, how did you, because you have behavioral questions and technical interviews too. I say, how did you deal with this certain situation? So they give you a situation. If you don't want to just ramble on and lose your train of thought, you use the STAR methodology because it helps you stand out, and that's what they're checking for. So I was in this situation. I had the task to do this, or I told myself I was going to do this. This is the action I took to achieve that task, and this is the result. And I learned that you can use that for any interview, as long whether you're going to do a technical interview or a they're asking behavioral questions. That's the best way. So that's what I watch a lot of YouTube video. You can just go on YouTube and say STAR methodology for, let's say, front end developers. I did for cybersecurity, and then know your stuff. For my interview, they did not ask me. I didn't even have like a technical interview per se. What they asked like cybersecurity questions because I did for cybersecurity. So if you're in normal tech, you guys are code. They'll ask you like your coding questions, and maybe you have your DSA and stuff. Just as Salim said, you have to be confident. You have to be very assertive, and it's also it's a conversation. One thing I learned is a conversation. Smile, ask questions, and then you had one thing I learned. I think I had a call with somebody that was at the bank too, that helped me prep. I say you have to ask them questions and form a connection. So you can have, or like let's say there are two people here and you people have answered the question exactly. They've asked you the same question. People are great. Well, if I have a connection with her, I'm going to like there's not going to be that inherent bias to give her that role. So I think I had three sets of interview, and the third one I was really tired. Everything was going wrong, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not going to even get this offer." And I found out, and they just said, "Okay, let's talk." And I found out that we read the same author, and then that's how we just started talking about the author. And this author, silly author, has not written like 10 years, and we are just complaining and complaining. And then I feel like that connection I made. So if you are a football fan, like bring it up in conversation. They want to meet the type of person you are. I don't think as an intern they are looking for you to know everything. They're looking for your mindset and seeing if you're a very agreeable person.
Okay. I hope you guys got a thing or two. The STAR methodology is actually very, very helpful for your interviews and plan to use it for your future interviews. So, seeing that the opportunities you applied for are international opportunities, how did you bridge the gap between your technical experience or maybe perhaps your experience as, being in a, did you have to work on international, like recognized projects, or did you have to submit a paper on an internet, like a paper or something? How did you, this question is for Salem.
At the point when I applied, no, actually. So they were more keen on potential. Like, does this person like mindsets? Is this person reliable? Is this kind of person that when they start something, they see it all the way to the end? Like evidences to that effect. So it could be like a group project, as long as you're able to like you had that leadership mindset as well. That helps as well. One other thing I think my advisor talked about when I was done that stood out for me was the concept of agency. So agency is the ability to do something without external prompting. Like, can you do things without like someone chasing you around or something like that? Like, that's also very, very important. So I did not have those things at the point. And now that I think about my friend asking me to apply and me being skeptical, me not applying at the point that just made me counter myself out because of those things. So many times, no.
Okay, so Chioma, this question goes to you. Cybersecurity is such a niche field. And I think I only know one person in cybersecurity, and I see her post about the certifications. They're in thousands of dollars, guys. Thousands of dollars. So was there any certification that you had that helped to help your application? Because I know there are some basic ones you ought to have, and there are some that you have to pay a couple hundred of dollars for.
I'm not a big fan of certifications, especially as you're a student, because like they're very expensive. I think I only have one. Yes, but I have two. It came and the other one's free. So it's not realistic for it. I would not advise anybody to go and pay $500 or 1,600 for OSCP and you might still feel it. Like, no. So it looks good on paper. Well, I don't think at my interview stage anybody asked me, "Oh, you've written this EJPT certification. How did you go about it?" No, it's basically understanding the concepts that you learn, and everything is on YouTube. Everything out there are free courses that you can have. It's great to have certifications if you can afford them or if you have the free ones, but just have a good understanding of those concepts. Have your paperwork, like do your projects. You have your portfolio ready. You have evidence that you have, like Salim said, agency. Like you can do things yourself. You understand what you are doing, and you believe that you are the best candidate. If certifications are a plus, but like they are not a requirement for me.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think one thing both of you mentioned that is standing out now is having a ready portfolio and also a CV. So I just wanted to chip this in. There's going to be a little, like 2 minutes or three, for the audience to have ask questions. So if you have any questions or any mind-boggling questions, you can write them down and the mic will be passed across to you to ask your questions. For example, if they paid them during their internship, is a very, very nice question to ask, in my opinion. So to both of you, this question would be like little bit like to the end, and but what's that one honest truth you think everybody should know about applying for international opportunities, or one honest truth about the international organization you worked like with or you applied to? Okay, I think Salim should go first, then Chioma next.
Um, I think the importance of soft skills when you are there. Something as basic as being like in Nigeria, you might be okay, like, or in general, like you can be like that guy that codes and then you just do your thing and then you deliver. That's acceptable. I mean, you're doing your job, you collect your money, everyone's happy. However, over there, it's extremely important you have that sense of communication, your even the way you communicate with emails, like the way you communicate your ideas, how approachable you are, your day-to-day interaction with your colleagues, like those things really, really matter. Like the things that it really stands out. Having small talk, I was like those things really, really matter. Like those are the things that they would remember. So ultimately, what would happen is when you're there, if you're there already, you probably have good technical skill. So what will make you stand out at that point now is just having that, it's very, very, I can't stress that enough. That's very important.
Okay, soft skills are very, very important. So, Chima, can we have you?
So, like Salim said, is networking. I did not know the amount of networking you are expected to do when you do go for your global internship. The way I am, even in my present place of work, I like sit down, do my work. Don't talk to me. Like if you talk to me on side, but I'm not going to come to you and like jump around and talk. And then I was having like I had like reviews weekly, and they said, "Okay, who have you met?" I'm like, "I've met my teammates, but who have you met on the floor?" And they said, "Oh, go, you have to go and meet people and make those connections and network." And me, I'm very like I like to break things down strategic. I just got a list of people like 30 days, and like every day I was everybody was in red for people I've not talked to, green like can I? It's very, very, it's not part of me. I don't think it's normal to just say, oh, can I put 30 minutes in your calendar for us to just have a chat or have a coffee? But then you find out that those things are really important, making those connections. Those are people that remember you. You learn. I learned about different cybersecurity fields and teams that I did not know existed just from having those chats with people that normally you will never have access to. And like Salim said, like there are people that want to help you, want to have that chat with you. They want to pick your brain too, and then you get to learn a lot. So apart from the technical side, like networking, very important.
Okay. So this will like lead us to like the very one question to the last. So this question I would love to ask is technically everybody's question that is literally seated here. So for each of the places you've interned or where you've gotten your international opportunities, when are the application windows so they could keep an eye on, these things? You talked about, summer. So yeah.
So if you're applying for a summer internship, I think it has it closed. You can check, just check. Well, I think it should have closed by now. It opened this year. It opened on the first January, February, March, April. After August, September. Yeah, it opened on the 1st of September, and that's this. And I think one advice, something I didn't know, you have to anticipate it. Yeah, for the summer cybersecurity summer analyst program was open on 1st of September. I was like, oh, that's nice, and it closed on the 2nd of September. Once you have like it's they go on a rolling basis. So if they have the number of applications they want or the people that they want to for the role to interview, they are closing it, and that was very very scary. I didn't know that it happens. So if you want to go for an internship and you know that okay it's going to open in 2027, start your CV now, start all your preparation now. So like the minute it opens, you're not left caught unaware. You can just apply immediately because that 1 day window I've never seen that. So summer is just by August you should be checking and refreshing their talent page. Yeah.
Okay, so Salim, you.
I think for mine, it opened January, like January, and then it closed like mid February.
Okay, so this would be the very, very final and last question because before we pass the mic into the audience. So for what's that one practical step you want to give to anybody that is also looking to apply in any of this application windows you have mentioned? And lastly, if you could go back to your 200 level, 300 level days, like what would you have done differently to prepare for your role?
Um, what would I change? I think I'll join communities earlier than I did. Yeah, as much as I've gotten for communities, I still feel a bit. I should have done this earlier. That's the one. I'm sorry,
The next question is like your 200 level, 300 level.
the
Like,
first one.
yeah. Okay, the very first one.
I answered the second.
What's that one practical step you want to give to anybody that is looking to apply as well?
Again, please talk to people. Like talk to people in the company, people that have done
You
it
can
before.
talk to Salim. Yeah.
But really, just talk to people. Like people want to help. Like I was so surprised about like people want to help.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing, Chima.
Okay, my practical step would be if you know the role you are targeting or in type of roles you are targeting, go to the application page. They have like the list of requirements or what they want you to have. Get that out, copy it into a sheet or put it into ChatGPT. Create a plan. You have a 1 year window. You can do it like create a plan. This is what they want. So you have to like make sure that you check at least 70% of those boxes. And then for my 200 or 300 level self, I would have said like apply earlier. I wish I applied like when I was in 300 level, I would have gotten in, I'm sure.
Okay, so thank you very much to our panelists. And we have just the 2 minutes I promised. So does anybody have questions from the audience? Okay, I see 2 hands. Okay, that's 4. So I'll be taking you first, sir. And the hand I saw over there. So man on sky blue shirts and also you. Please, can we have you now? Your question. Yes. But just ask. Okay, I'm so sorry. Now we have to disrupt the order. Can I have the mic passed over that to the man on sky blue shirt so we just take the answers together and call it a wrap for the panel? So now ask questions for Salim. Okay.
What type of activities was I? Jesus, was I involved in during my internship? A whole lot of learning. I think, because I'm in offensive security, I was lucky to be. Once you apply, you can be put in different teams. You shadow people, understand how they work. It's just basically learning. Nobody expects you to hack anything, but just learn and show yourself. So that's it. For your question, congrats on your interview. I think that as long as you understand those concepts, if it's really an internship position you're interviewing for, you want to understand your how good your foundation is, brush up on all those concepts, be very assertive. If you don't understand how, if you don't really know one, just be very honest. So just have a conversation. I believe that if you've done your study, you can do it. Thank you. Or you can, I'm on LinkedIn. Chama Bakama.
Okay, so I saw your answer. Please just stand up and ask quickly or just ask.
Okay, for the cover letter, think about it as a bridge between your resume and the requirements. Like that's the way, like your resume and the requirements for the job. That's what the cover letter is. And then statements of purpose. I think one advice that really changed my life about statement of purpose is brag about the things you've done. That's the entire point. Just brag about it. Like that's the entire point of statement of purpose. And the other question, AI research at the internship level, they don't expect me to change the world, to be honest, right? So they just want to see. I think the most important thing is evidence that this person, agency, like I said earlier, is this person hardworking? Is this person diligent? That's what it means. That's all.
Okay, thank you all very much for tuning into our panel session. If you enjoyed the session, can I get a louder clap?